When the Nazis invaded the USSR on June 22, 1941, it supposedly caught Soviet leader Joseph Stalin completely by surprise, even though it shouldn't have. But how is that possible? Throughout the spring and early summer of 1941, the Soviets received a flood of both foreign and domestic intelligence reports warning of massive German troop concentrations along the border. Stalin, however, chose to ignore them entirely. British and American intelligence relayed through diplomats, as well as a personal warning from Winston Churchill, were dismissed as attempts to drag the USSR into war with Hitler, to ease the pressure on Britain. Meanwhile, repeated alerts from Soviet intelligence agencies were brushed aside by Red Army Command, whose remaining officers, scarred by the purges of the 1930s, were too terrified to contradict Stalin. He strongly believed that Hitler would honor the 1939 Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact, which had divided Eastern Europe into spheres of influence between the two powers. Ongoing German trade with the USSR and diplomatic assurances of peace further convinced Stalin that Germany would not dare attack, even as millions of troops and thousands of tanks massed within sight of the frontier. Even as German tanks rolled across the border and Luftwaffe raids annihilated much of the Soviet Air Force on the ground, Stalin initially refused to authorize a counterattack, insisting it was the work of rogue German units. As the reality of full-scale invasion became undeniable, Stalin was reportedly paralyzed for several days, isolating himself and barely communicating with his high command. In the end, Stalin's stubbornness and the climate of fear that silenced any dissent nearly doomed the Soviet Union, and almost certainly led to far greater military and civilian losses than would otherwise have occurred. Now, as always, thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed the video, please like, comment, subscribe, and become a channel member to support the work we do.